All right. Happy March 5th, everybody. I hope we all enjoyed our weekend. This is John Anderson of Many Masters, Many Lives. No, I'm sorry. Martyrs are from Men and Women from Venus. Many Masters, Many Lives is Brian Weiss. That's an awesome book that really started me down my path of reincarnation and the understanding that we are men and women, and we've been Muslim and Catholic and Hindu and everything else. We go back to Earth to learn our lessons, and we are everybody that there is. So there's no reason for hostility towards those that are different, because you've been one of them in the past life at some point, guaranteed. And Frank was reincarnated in the body of a Christian girl. That's kind of a proven thing, but look into it. There's all types of cases, and very interesting stuff. Here we go.
And welcome back to Coast with our special guest, Dr. John Gray. Split show for you tonight. John, I wanted to tell you this very strange story. When I first came physically to this network in 2003 in Los Angeles, I'm up on my office, and it's nighttime, and I see some whoosh go by the window. I didn't think anything about it. And then about an hour or so later, I start seeing the reflection of fire department and emergency medical lights, red lights, reflecting off all the glass. So I look down, and sure enough, there's a body of a woman. She had fallen from the top of this high-rise office building we're in, changed her mind, John, in midair, grabbed the C of the building. We're in a building that has a City National Bank on the top. She grabs the C and it breaks off and comes down with her.
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable. So, we talk about suicide. Here's a woman who jumps, but changes her mind in midair.
Amazing.
Sad.
Well, it's usually desperation that people get to the point of desperation, and they don't know what else to do. And the sad truth is that the drug companies know, they know completely that suicide rates go up when people take antidepressants. They know that antidepressants change the brain so that the problem the person had to start with gets worse. And there's a $15 solution. Three-month supply, generally, $15. I've had thousands of women and men go off of antidepressants just taking lithium orotate. The simplest little tiny pill. And it's illegal in Canada, it's illegal in Australia, it's legal in Europe, it's legal in the United States, and nobody knows about it because they've got the whole propaganda. If you say lithium, immediately doctors say that's for crazy people, that's for bipolar, that's for schizophrenia. But the truth is, it's for depression, it's for anxiety, it's for people that don't sleep well, and that if you have extreme problems, it helps that. But doctors are trained, and they're only educated to know about a form of lithium which is toxic and not the healthy lithium, which is legal. You don't need a prescription. It's the simplest thing, and yet nobody knows about it. And if you talk to your doctor about it, they'll say, oh, that's dangerous, that's toxic, because lithium carbonate is toxic to the system. Doctors give it to people. It's toxic, so it helps people with bipolar and schizophrenia, but then they have all kinds of undesirable side effects. Because if you take any mineral supplement, it's all it is a mineral supplement, in toxic doses, then your body will get sick. You'll get the improvement, but then you also have the side effect. And lithium orotate, now that's different from lithium carbonate. Lithium orotate is taken in very small doses, just what the body needs. And it carries it into the brain, and the brain starts making the brain chemicals that we're missing. And when people commit suicide, or people want to give up, or people feel discouraged when their stress levels are high, George, I've seen it again and again and again. This is thousands of people I've seen who write me letters. Every week I get emails from people that say, I just took the lithium orotate, and my symptoms have gone away.
Amazing.
And what I tell people is that the pharmaceutical drugs are so dangerous, you don't just stop them, because they actually make the condition that you were suffering from worse than in the beginning. It doesn't get better. And so that's when you see these kids committing acts of violence and so forth, and a lot of the suicides are children that went off of, or adults that went off of their antidepressants, because you feel like a zombie after a while on these things. There are some people that have gotten benefits from it without a doubt. What they don't know, whether you're getting benefits, it's going to get worse, and people who take them and don't get that much benefit, they could learn about lithium orotate, which is it's a natural mineral, and orotate is a delivery system. It comes from orotic acid, which is in mother's milk. They don't take it from mother's milk, but it's very high in mother's milk because the orotic acid is necessary to carry the minerals across the blood-brain barrier into the brain, where the lithium is required in order to make the brain chemical serotonin. And women tend to be more vulnerable to the depression. 4 times more women become depressed than men and take antidepressants, because a woman's brain, it's different. The emotional limbic system of the brain becomes 8 times more active under stress, and the serotonin is used up to calm that part of her brain. And so if she doesn't have the lithium, she can't make the serotonin, and so her brain remains distressed. And so, many neuroscientists today have seen that when a woman's brain becomes stressed, it doesn't relax. It's like it doesn't have a turn-off switch, and serotonin is that turn-off switch that can help her. But, the medical community keeps it a secret. They don't want anybody to know that one of the most expensive, most lucrative drugs are these antidepressants, and lithium orotate is the cheapest supplement you could find in a health food store. And because nobody knows about it, it's not in health food stores. You have to find it online,
And look for it. And here's some of the highlights from John Gray's book, From Boyhood to Manhood. Listen to these statistics. 8 out of 10 children with ADHD are boys. 2 women to every 1 man graduate from high school. 2 women to every man graduate from college. The number of people getting married dramatically dropping in Europe and America. Why for all this? What's happening?
Well, it was amazing. I was just in Norway and Sweden and did a debate with their foreign minister, which is like their Secretary of State, on TV to 3 million people, and the head of their liberal party there. And I basically, it was so spirited debate. I'll tell you. I said, you don't believe that men and women are different at all? And they said, absolutely not. She said, there's only a few little differences when they're children, and there are no differences. So they expect women to behave like men in the workplace, and they expect men to behave like women at home. And so people are not getting married. Young people go, why get married? Because when you feminize men, when you expect men to be like your girlfriend, what happens is you lose the attraction of male to female. And when women become too like men, they become strident, they become opinionated, they become demanding, they have a sense of urgency about them, like everything has to be done now. And this is really, it's the opposite of what creates a loving, nurturing relationship. So people there, the younger generation doesn't even plan on getting married. It's shocking.
They don't want to, do they?
No, and their experience is they like each other. They date for 2 or 3 years, and then the passion goes away. The attraction's just gone. Suddenly you find that you're attracted to somebody else. They're not able to sustain that harmonious feeling in the relationship. And this is because these Scandinavian countries, for example, they're more gender equal, meaning that they say, okay, everybody deserves equal respect, which, I'm right there with them. Of course, we want equal respect, equal opportunity. But to achieve that, they're the most gender-blind society I've ever experienced. And I've taught around the world. You have gender blindness completely in these countries, and it's destroying relationships, and divorce as well is very high there as it is here.
What is going on? Why are so many people depressed these days? Is it because of the economy? What's happening, John?
Well, the economy certainly has a huge impact on the male depression. The female depression is certainly affected by that. But, when you look at the women, they're going, where are the men? Where are the men? If they're out of work, see, a woman could be out of work, and it doesn't cause a man to become depressed. He's going to work harder and try to help her and so forth. But when a man's out of work, women become very, very dissatisfied, and they reject and they expect more, and it's a very challenging aspect. But, being on your show, I'll just take a step forward here and mention that, I don't normally talk about it this way, but if we look at this whole movement that started in the 60s, the feminist movement of women going into the workplace and the Ms. magazine and the people, the main people in the feminist movement, they were all funded by the CIA. And this is not, this is in Gloria Steinem's autobiography. The CIA came to her and funded her magazine, the whole feminist movement, and it was to get both men and women into the workplace.
Interesting. Why would the CIA do that?
Well, Rockefeller, in one interview, basically said we realized we could have twice as many taxpayers.
I'd have to pay.
I mean, just...
Well, I guess that's smart, huh?
Well, just to map this out, what's happened to our economy. When I was a child growing up, my dad could go out and have a job and make enough money, like most men, a large percent of men could go to a job, 9-to-5 job, make enough money to support their wives raising their children.
Or, if not make enough money, at least people didn't have this obsession with buying two of everything.
That as well. We had a humble house, but my mother was very happy raising her kids, and then when the kids grew up, she went out and created her own job and so forth, but most of the time she could be there with her family. That was a choice she could make for women that want to be there with their children. That's not a choice for most women today.
They have to work.
They have to work, and what happens is when women feel they have to do something, has a different effect on their stress levels than men. If there's a fire and we have to get up and put out the fire, actually that will lower a man's stress levels. But if he feels confident he can do it, like I'm accomplishing something. And for a woman, when she does something she has to do, she doesn't, want to do it, whatever, her stress levels are much higher than a man's in that situation. So, women traditionally have had jobs that were more nurturing, more rhythmic, more secure. They weren't filled with risk and uncertainty. So I wrote this book, Venus on Fire. I did the show before talking about how men and women's hormones are different, but that helps to explain it. There's a hormone called oxytocin, and that hormone oxytocin is what lowers stress in women. And it's produced when you're in a situation that doesn't require risk or urgency or sacrifice or pressure. So when women are in situations of risk, urgency, sacrifice, and pressure, what happens is the hormone testosterone gets released, and that's good for men, but not so good for women. It actually inhibits the production of oxytocin in women. So we have is a lot of women that are very low in their hormones. We were just hearing one of your...
All right, we're really getting into something here. So I hope you meet me back on the other side, but I got to cut this off. It is 9/11, as you can see, and that is what we call a synchronicity. We're getting into some things that make a lot of sense as far as my wife's sleep pattern goes. It always amazes me how, she just can't shut stuff off, and it keeps her up, and this is making a lot of sense. Lithium orotate, find it online. That's very interesting. I'm going to be seeing how that works out. All right, remember, one love, because we are all one. That's why we are to treat our neighbors as we want to be treated, because they are us, we are them. And the better we treat everybody else, the more positive energy we receive. All right? So I love you, kids. Have a great week at school. I'm going to want to hear about some things. I'm very happy I met up with the Powers boys over the weekend. You guys are actually in town, so maybe I'll hook up with you during the week. All right. Everybody else, I love you. Later.